we are going to look at the parts of the enlarger. One of the first things that I want you to notice is that there are two different types of enlargers here at Homestead. We have a square head, and we also have a round head. Now, you need to know the difference between both enlargers because they have different settings, okay? The square head is going to not have as intense of a light, whereas the round head has a little bit more intense of a light. The other difference would be with filters. The square heads, many of them have working internal filters, and the round heads do not. To get started, we need to first turn on our timer. The on button is in the back, and that is going to be important because we want to be able to turn on the light. Now at the bottom, you can see it says outlet focus. That is the light we want right now because that will help us to see what we're doing right now, okay? To get your station set up, you will be able to see, even with the lights down, that there are two lines marked on the enlarger head column here. You need to make sure that those two areas line up, okay? This is going to put your enlarger head, and the light is controlling the distance of the light to the surface. So this is where I want you to start, okay? First by aligning. The next thing you need to make sure is that your filter internally is set to 0, because you can see as the numbers change, so does the quality of light, okay? This station happens to have working filters. Filters help us to have more contrast, okay? But make sure that this is going to be on 0 because that is going to affect what our image looks like. Now, on the side, you will see this knob, and as I move it, that is bringing this part, the bellows, up and down, okay? This is our focusing knob, okay? On the side here, on the left, actually right up here, you notice that this is raising and lowering the enlarger head, okay? Right in here is where our negative carrier is going to go. And it's a little bit hard to see, but that is a circular indentation, okay? When we look at the negative carrier, this is where we will put the film. There's a smooth side, which I'm showing you, and then there is a side that has a circle. This is how it is supposed to be. The circle on the bottom needs to fit into that. Now, right now, I don't have any film in there, but you can see it's very floppy, okay? That means that if I did have film in there, it would not be held tightly and it might curve or bend the image. So we need to make sure that we close it all the way so that it is tight. Another part that you need to see down here, and it's a little bit harder, you can see this little red light gives us a little bit of illumination, but right here is the lens, and you can see that the light is changing, okay? The intensity of the light. So when I mentioned the difference between the square head and the round head, we talked about the intensity of the light. So what I always want you to do when you're working at a square head, turn it to the brightest light, which it is right now, okay? And I don't know if you can hear this or not, but we're gonna go down 2 clicks. 1, 2, okay? 1, 2. If we were at a round head, we would go down 1, 2, 3, 4. The round head enlargers have a much more intense light, and we need to control that light. Now, as we move forward with learning more about lighting and things, this is one of the options that you have to adjust. So if you had a really light image, barely anything is showing up, that means you need a really intense light. So you might be at the full intensity of the light. It might be no clicks down. Or if your image is much too dark, you might have to go down additional clicks. So you are learning to control the light, okay? Now here is our baseboard, and then this is our masking easel. So you can see on this particular one, there is a wallet size, a 3.5 by 4, and then a 5 by 7. Typically you are going to use the 5 by 7 or the 8 by 10, which is on the back. One of the things that I want to show you is that there are these little notches, and sometimes when you are working in the dark, you're using your sense of touch. Now this is much too big of a paper, but you can get the idea that using your sense of touch to make sure that you have even borders, you're going to want to push that piece of paper, that photo paper, into that area. Obviously it's too big right now, but then you would close it. And that is how you're going to get that nice white edge, okay? We want to make sure though that it's all the way in, or else it's going to show up crooked on your station, okay? Now the magnifying, the grain focuser, I am not able to show you right now, but this is going to be what we look through to make sure that our image is in focus. So once we are projecting our image downward, you are going to set this on top, and then you're going to be bending very, very close, and also using the focusing knob right here. You can see it is adjusting slightly the position of the lens, and that will help us to bring it further into focus. Okay, so if we are done for the day, we need to clean up our area. You need to turn off your timer. You need to put the green focuser to the side. If you were using cardboard, remember that we put the cardboard on top of this big filing cabinet, and then we'll leave our masking easel out. If you were working on a contact sheet or something like that, you're gonna just prop up your piece of glass to the side. I should not see anything else, no other negatives, dusting brushes, handouts, anything, okay?